Welcome to the program, everyone. My name is Brian Craig, and this is where MAGA comes to talk. Thanks for tuning in. We've got a lot to cover on the stream today, and your calls are welcome. You know, we've got this summit coming up with President Trump and Putin in Alaska. And, you know, when this Russian-Ukraine war began, I was talking about that, you know, and we got into it really deep with the Autopen administration that just left and gave the reins over to a real president, Donald Trump. But, you know, I said, this is the first war that I remember where there were not peace talks. You know, even during the Vietnam War, even though they weren't that positive, but we had peace talks for years. They had the Paris peace talks. During the Korean War, there were peace talks going on through the entire conflict. Now, I know we didn't have peace talks going on with Japan and Germany in the Second World War, but that was a different situation. Since the Second World War, there's always been an effort to end a conflict until this one with Russia and Ukraine. And why that is many, but you know, the last administration, they were just corrupt, and they didn't want to give up the money. There was too much money for them to be making to give it up. And that had a lot to do with it, no doubt about it. But we've got President Trump now, right? And President Trump is going to have this summit, and it's going to be successful. Not only is it going to be successful, the location of Alaska is very amazing and an incredible area to have it in. You know, I know everyone's pointing out that Russia used to own Alaska and that we bought Alaska from the Russians, and all that's true, but I don't think it's an accident that President Trump picked Alaska, of all places, to have this summit. And I think although this is not the main reason, this isn't the main purpose of President Trump having this summit there, but it is one of the reasons, although it's a little subliminal or maybe symbolic, I guess would be the more proper word, would be symbolic. But one of the reasons President Trump is having the summit in Alaska, I believe, is to let Putin know that, hey, you know, not everything that once belonged to Russia still does or ever will again, like Alaska. And, you know, the way Putin looks at Ukraine, he looks at that's Russia. He believes that's Russia. It was part of the Soviet Union for a long, long time. And the whole conflict there really has been kind of a civil war. But he just can't get over the fact that Ukraine is its own country now. So I think that's one of the reasons that President Trump picked Alaska to kind of send that message, or maybe even talk to Putin about it. I don't know. But the Alaskan summit is a good thing. And, you know, when I was on Rita Cosby's show today on Newsmax, if any of you saw that, I hope you did. We were talking about this a little bit, and I had mentioned, I said, you know, this Alaskan summit with President Trump and Putin, what it reminds me of is all those summits that Ronald Reagan had with Gorbachev back in the 80s. This one in particular reminds me of the Iceland summit in Reykjavik, because it looks like Alaska there. It was all dark and so, but they had multiple summit meetings, and they were trying to tone things down and bring peace about. And that's what you do when there's a war. You know, during the Cold War, they made a big deal of installing that red phone in the Oval Office, that it was a direct line to the Kremlin. Does that even exist? Did it ever exist? I don't know. But we definitely have to tone things down and end this war. I mean, come on. And it's not Trump's war, but it's going to be another war that he ends. Now, no matter what scenario comes out of the summit, right? If they have the summit in Alaska and they come out with an immediate end to the war, let's just say that, best case scenario, the never-Trumpers and the liberals are going to be critical of it, okay? Okay. There's nothing that President Trump can do that the fake news media, the Democrats, the never-Trumpers, you know, all the weirdos out there, there's nothing he can do that's going to get them to say anything other than he's failed and it's a problem. But when he comes out with whatever agreement it is, it's not going to be he's not going to say, okay, we're out, they get to keep everything. There's going to be a give and take on both sides. And it's also a good thing that President Trump is doing it without anybody else there. None of these European troublemakers or anyone else. And I'm excited about it. I do have a lot to cover on the program. I will take a call or two before I move on to some of the other issues. I'll get deeper into this topic as the show goes on. If you're watching live on YouTube, you can call in live at 1-888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. This is the Brian Craig Show podcast, where MAGA comes to talk. And the Brian Craig Show podcast is available on all podcast platforms. Just go to whatever podcast platform you get your podcast on and search for The Brian Craig Show, and I'll pop up. But if you follow me on my YouTube channel, Brian Craig Show on YouTube, you can catch the show live and call in live. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm Billy from Indiana, sir.
All right.
I just really proud of President Trump. I watched that whole conference, the speech by both the nations, Azerbaijan and Armenia. That almost brought me to tears. I was so proud to be an American and have a president like President Trump. I just couldn't believe it. It's amazing to watch that kind of stuff happen, and we have not seen that. And it was just a beautiful thing to watch.
Well, it's nice to have a president back. You know, we had President Trump the first time, but 8 years of Obama, who was a joke, the Autopin administration of Biden, and then we had before all that, we had a war criminal, George. We haven't had a real president since Reagan. We really haven't.
I agree. I'm 50. I think you're 54, and when we're young, I didn't pay attention to any of that stuff. My goals were to try to make money and raise a family, and politics were set aside because there's too much to talk about. And since Trump in 2016, we've watched all of it change. The whole ball game is completely changed. We need a statesman like President Trump. We have to have another statesman after him.
Yeah.
Or our nation. We cannot continue putting in the pontificated people, these elites that they're just pushed into place.
Yeah.
And there's a reason why they were. But when you see this man, he's just a man, go up, and everybody wants to have peace with him. Everyone wants to do business deals with him, and there's a reason why. This man knows how to talk to people, and he knows how to get that stuff done. Mm-hmm. And it's just amazing to watch every single day. I don't even know what he's going to do.
Yeah.
Every single day, I peek, I see what you're saying, I see what's going on. I look on the news, and here he is doing another $1 trillion deal or a $500 billion deal or another peace mission successful. And I know he's got to work on Russia and Ukraine. And obviously, here he is.
Yeah.
The underlying statement, he did not want to take away from what he just did. So he spoke about it later after all that hush-push was going and done. He set aside the moment. That's a statesman. That's
pretty
whoever
amazing.
He has, and it is a big group of people, whoever he has that works with him, they really know how to make deals with people and speak to them in a way that they understand that we do not operate the same way as this nation formerly was ran. We're not doing that anymore. And President Trump makes a lot of promises to people, and throughout his life, he always kept those promises. And then when he does a campaign promise, he's kept those too. It's just good to see a statesman.
Yeah,
and
you know, and I'll tell you another thing too. You know what you see with these world leaders and business people. There's just respect for him in the country, right? Which we didn't have for a long time.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, good. It's good to hear from you. Where are you calling from?
Indiana. Angola, Indiana.
Indiana. Well, thanks for calling. Call me again sometime.
Thanks, Brian. You take care.
All
Thanks,
right, take care. Smart guy. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian. It's Jack from Sarasota.
From a smart guy to the opposite.
It's not them, I promise. Real quick before we begin, there appears to be some sort of a glitch behind you with your green screen. It's saying the Brian Craig, and then sometimes it's saying the Brian Craig SHO. I don't know what's going on, but whatever's...
No, there's no glitch. The glitch is in your liberal brain. It says The Brian Craig Show, and every once in a while it refreshes and rewrites across the screen. Okay.
I promise you I'm not trying to be mean or criticize you here.
I just saw it go through. It says The Brian Craig Show. It just went through the scroll.
I want to say that I do sincerely hope that there is some peace that Trump is able to broker with Putin.
Yeah.
Truly.
That's good.
I have absolutely no criticism towards him for trying to broker any peace.
Yeah.
Just hope that it doesn't have a cost.
A cost?
That is negative towards the United States.
Towards the United States?
I hope that it doesn't have a cost. I'm sorry, Brian?
What negative cost could it have towards the United States, a peace deal with Russia and Ukraine? He's brokering a deal between two warring nations. It's not between us and Russia. It's between Ukraine and Russia. Now, Ukraine may lose some of what they want to keep. They may have to give up some land. Who knows? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I think it would be a bad thing for Ukraine to lose their country over this.
Whatever. Hey, listen, I appreciate the call. If you're on hold, stand by. If you'd like to call in, please do. The number is 888-465-2631. It's hard to talk to someone like that after I had such a smart guy on the line. I wanted to play this clip. Jimmy Kimmel, what a jerk. Jimmy Kimmel, he's here with his ex-girlfriend, Sarah Silverman. And it's a kind of a strange thing. They're wearing the Apple headphones, and my wife and I have these. We each have a set, but I think they have the same color. What do they call those? The big Apple headphones, the Apple AirPods, the big ones. What are they called? I forgot. I've got a set right here. Hold on, let me get mine. I'll reach mine. See, I've got, what are these called? Does it say on it? Doesn't say on. What are they? I forgot what they're called. But I've got the pair right here that Sarah Silverman's wearing. And this is not why I'm sharing this clip, but she's wearing the blue ones that I have. And then he's wearing the pink ones. These are the ones my wife have. So, my wife and I have them, the Apple AirPods, I don't know what they're called. You know what they're called. The AirPods Max, that's what they're called. And they're very good, by the way. The noise canceling technology on these is so advanced, it's like unbelievable. They really are. They're pretty cool. But my wife has the pink ones that Jimmy Kimmel is wearing, and I have the blue ones that Sarah Silverman's wearing. Now, everyone knows that blue is for boys and pink is for girls. And one of the reasons we have them in two different colors is so we know whose is whose. Not that it matters, but, so we know whose is whose. But I would never wear my wife's pink ones, and she would never wear my blue ones, especially on camera like that. Is there some type of gender thing going on here with Jimmy Kimmel and Sarah Silverman? Why is he wearing the pink Apple AirPods Max, whatever the heck they're called, and she's wearing the blue ones? Anyone got any thoughts on that? But anyway, that's the least of Jimmy Kimmel's problems. There's a total collapse in the media of liberal talk show hosts. These late night talk shows are really so dated and irrelevant today. Don't you guys agree? Johnny Carson, was on. I like Johnny Carson. I thought Jay Leno was really great. I did like David Letterman when I was a child, but when I grew up, I realized what a juvenile, no talent Letterman was. But Carson was great. I think Jay Leno was fantastic on The Tonight Show. I never really watched those shows too much when I got older because I've always worked early in the morning, so they're on past my bedtime. But Carson and Leno were great. And what's happened to these guys now, you've got mediocre, I hate to even use talent because it's less than mediocre talent in most instances, who have one or two gimmicks. And like Fallon, he thinks it's cute and funny when he sings, and it might have been funny the first 10,000 times, but But after Colbert, and there's some problems going on with The View, these liberal shows are going bye-bye because there's no audience for them. And also, I don't care what anyone tells me, Doge shutting down USA ID is part of the effect that's causing these liberal programs to go bye-bye. USAID, I think, was supporting a lot of them indirectly or directly, and that's taking its toll as well. And that's why Jimmy Fallon had Greg Gutfeld on the other night, because he wants to reach out to conservatives. He's worried that he's going to be taken off the air with this liberal purge that these networks are doing. So anyway, I wanted to share this. This is Jimmy Kimmel in his pink Apple AirPods Max talking to his ex-girlfriend, Sarah Silverman, and her masculine blue Apple AirPods Max. Jimmy Kimmel's done something.
A lot of people I know are thinking about where they can get citizenship.
Citizenship? Do any of you have friends that are worried about where they can get citizenship outside the United States? But she does. She knows people that are looking to get citizenship elsewhere.
A lot of people I know are thinking about where they can get citizenship. And
I do have Italian. I did get Italian citizenship.
You do?
I do.
That's amazing.
I do.
That's amazing. Is Jimmy Kimmel Italian? I never thought of him as being Italian. Well, he is, I guess. If he's got the citizenship, he really is Italian. But is he of Italian descent? I never really thought of him that way. Good, go. Take all the liberals with you. Get your citizenship in Canada and Italy and wherever else.
Citizenship and
I do have Italian. I did get Italian citizenship.
You do?
I do.
That's amazing.
I do have that. And what's going on is as bad as you thought it was going to be.
Way worse.
It's so much worse.
Okay, yeah. In Italy, probably. Okay, now I'll play the rest of it, but this is an interesting thing. So why is this idiot, mediocre talent, Jimmy Kimmel, getting, why did he get Italian citizenship? Right, because he wants to leave because of Trump's policies. And Trump's policies is what? Secure the border and not let people here unless they have proper documentation. Well, he's not going to Italy illegally. He went through some legal process to obtain Italian citizenship before he goes. Why didn't he just go there and set up and jump the border like these illegals used to do before Trump was president again? Oh, Italy doesn't allow people just to go to their country and move there. You have to get documentation. So he is leaving the United States because of President Trump's border policy, and he's become a citizen of Italy who has the exact same border policy that Trump has. This guy's so stupid. He is dumb as a doorknob. Dumber. Oh, my goodness. So stupid. All right, let me start it over, then we'll play the rest. I don't know if there's, I don't remember what he said after that.
A lot of people I know are thinking about where they can get citizenship and
I do have Italian. I did get Italian citizenship.
You do?
I do.
That's amazing.
I do have that. And what's going on is as bad as you thought it was going to be.
Way worse.
It's so much worse.
Yes.
It's just unbelievable. Like, I feel like it's probably even worse than he would like it to be.
He is the president. He can't say Trump, President Trump. He's got to say he, the president whose name shall not be mentioned.
It's so much worse. It's just unbelievable. Like, I feel like it's probably even worse than he would like it to be.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I do, every once in a while, I'll Google Trump regrets or MAGA regrets just to
regrets.
See
all
the people that I'm not happy that they're upset and but it makes me hope that maybe this will bring people together.
Bunch of dopes. Let me Google this. Hold on. She said she Googles, hold on. Let me pull this up. Okay, she said she Googles MAGA regrets. Okay, MAGA regrets. Let's see what you get when you Google that. MAGA man apologizes for supporting Trump. I fully regret voting for this S. We shouldn't hold grudges against Trump. Buyer's remorse. Okay, this is all BS, okay? You know, there is no one who is truly a supporter of President Trump, who's truly MAGA, who has any regrets. In fact, what's going on right now is was like our fantasy of the country we would dream and fantasize of living in, right? These lawfare people are being rounded up. We got Schiff facing federal mortgage charges. We've got Letitia James with 2 different federal charges. We've got all these FBI roundup and firings by Kash Patel. Pam Bondi has the grand juries with the Obama coup conspirators. That grand jury is believed to be in Fort Pierce, Florida. We're redistricting properly in Texas, which will be a model for other red states. We're getting a new census so we can have proper representation in the government. You know, the border has been shut down. Not a single illegal has jumped the border in the last 3 months. The deportations are going full steam ahead. We got the alligator Alcatraz. What MAGA person, we got the big, beautiful bill passed. What MAGA person would regret that? Oh, I regret it. All these things that these are, if any of them said they were MAGA before, they were fake MAGA. They were lying MAGA. But most of them are lying liberals, and we know liberals have no problem. And what is Sarah Silverman's life like that she sits around and Googles MAGA regrets? What a loser and a weirdo. Jimmy Kimmel with his pink headphones on. Oh my goodness. What a jerk. If you're on hold, hang in there, guys, okay? And if you'd like to call in, the number's toll free, 1-888-465-2631. It's the Brian Craig Show podcast. My name's Brian Craig. We'll be right back.
Every year, millions of elderly Americans lose everything, not to strangers, but to those they trusted most. From attorney and author Michael D. Rudy comes a must-read for families, caregivers, and professionals who work with seniors. Elder Financial Abuse and Inheritance Fraud, available on Amazon. With over 38 years of legal experience, the author exposes the tactics of abusers, from stolen real estate and bank accounts to insurance and retirement fraud. Elder Financial Abuse and Inheritance Fraud answers the tough questions. Who commits these crimes? How can you prevent them? And what should you do if it happens to someone you love? Whether you're a concerned family member, an elder law attorney, a doctor, or policymaker, this must-read book empowers you to recognize red flags, take action, and seek justice. Elder Financial Abuse and Inheritance Fraud from Michael D. Rudy Esquire is available right now on Amazon in Kindle and paperback. Don't wait until it's too late. Protect the ones who once protected you. Order your copy right now. Are you ready for real talk? The kind that makes you think, feel, and wake up. That's what you will find on the Wing and Wolf podcast, where nothing is off limits. Host Elizabeth Mooney is a fearless voice in the chaos of modern life. She's a dancer, author, actress, and truth teller, and she's here to shake things up. From masculine and feminine dynamics, the broken dating world, to off-grid living and tribal connections, the Wing and Wolf podcast goes where others won't. It's raw, it's unfiltered, and it's the conversation you've been craving. Live from the Nashville music scene, Elizabeth brings you honest interviews, spiritual awakenings, and discussions into everything today's society is too afraid to talk about. This isn't just a podcast, it's a movement. Add the Wing and Wolf podcast to your podcast playlist on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, and wherever else you get your podcast. Sponsorships are available too. The Wing and Wolf podcast, unfiltered, untamed, unapologetic.
See this guy with the pillows on Fox? My pillow guy, Mike Lindell. Where is Mike? He is the greatest. First of all, he does make a great product, great pillows. I actually use them, believe it or not. He's been a supporter from day one. The My Pillow guy, thank you. And he's been with us right from the beginning.
As always, President Trump is right. The MyPillow is so good, even President Trump sleeps on one. Support Mike Lindell, President Trump, and the Steve Kane Show at the same time. Go to MyPillow.com and use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at checkout for huge savings on MyPillow products. Promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at MyPillow.com. What if the quiet path to your dreams was hidden in the quiet beauty of a poem? Destiny Keys from Judith, available at barnesandnoble.com, is a collection of inspirational poetry, and it's also a guide to unlocking your best self. Through powerful, soul-stirring verses, the author explores the keys to a fulfilled life: gratitude, role models, goals, tranquility, and meditation. Each poem in Destiny Keys is crafted to lift your spirit, clear your mind, and help you reconnect with what truly matters. Whether you're at the start of your journey or looking to realign your focus, Destiny Keys offers the encouragement and clarity you've been searching for. It's a book to keep on your nightstand and in your heart. Order your copy right now at barnesandnoble.com. Available in ebook, paperback, and hardcover. Take that first step toward your destiny, one poem at a time. Destiny Keys from Judith at barnesandnoble.com.
All right, we're back. I'm Brian. It's the Brian Craig Show podcast. And don't forget, at mypillow.com, with my promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, free shipping on all orders of $100 or more. Spend $100 or more, free shipping site-wide on everything with my promo code Kane, Kane, at checkout at mypillow.com. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, my name is Ligma. 1, and 2, there is no flag large enough to cover the shame of committing a genocide.
Which genocide are you referencing? The one of the unborn that the liberals brought us with Roe v. Wade in 1973? Which one?
No.
Oh, not that one.
I'm mentioning the genocide that Trump is actively perpetuating by sending more military aid to Israel.
Genocide. Genocide.
Yes, it's an ethnic cleansing committed by Israel and the
ethnic cleansing committed by Israel. It's my understanding, now correct me if I'm wrong, but there was an unprovoked attack by terrorists on civilians where they raped and murdered people at the music festival, then kidnapped others and took them back to Gaza, including this poor Israeli who was starved to death, being forced to dig his own grave. You may have seen that in the news, right? Did that happen?
No,
that didn't happen. You're telling me that you're telling me. Excuse me.
That's not what I'm saying.
You're telling.
It did happen.
It did happen.
The fact is,
it did happen.
Their issues in Gaza are so much worse than that one.
No. How is it worse? I mean, if you think about this, I want you to think about this. I'm sure you've been to a concert. What must it be like? You're with your girlfriend. I'm sure you've had a girlfriend at some point in your life, right? You're with your girlfriend and you're at a concert. And then all of a sudden, a bunch of Palestinian terrorists fly in with ultralight airplanes. They kill you, they rape your girlfriend, and then take her back and hold her prisoner for a couple years somewhere. Can you, hold on a second. Can you imagine what would that be like? And what would the United States response be to something like that?
Perhaps giving aid to Gaza so that their situation.
No, excuse me. If there was an attack like that in the United, excuse me. If there was an attack like that on a music festival with terrorists like that in the United States at a concert, what do you think the United States' response would be?
Probably negative.
What do you mean negative? What are you supposed to do? Suck up that attack? You're supposed to take it? Well, I don't understand what you're saying.
Not. It's just there's issues that are causing these attacks.
Oh, wait a minute. So it was Israel's fault that these terrorists attacked the music festival and raped and murdered people and kidnapped people and everything? That was Israel's fault?
Hey, man, it's not the Palestinians that are starving themselves.
Excuse me. Yes, it is. The United States has been dropping food there, and Hamas has been stealing the relief supplies. Whose fault was it that they attacked the music festival?
Israel is starving.
All right. No, excuse me. The guy, that's disgusting what that guy said. He just said that it was Israel's fault that the music festival got attacked. My goodness. What a twisted soul. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, my name's Wendy, calling from Fargo, North Dakota.
Hey, what's up, Wendy?
And I'm just wondering, what's your opinion on the $30 billion we've spent for ICE enforcement?
Oh, that's awesome. If that's how much we spent, it's not enough. Keep spending on ICE.
We've outspent already how much it would have cost to just house people. So how much is fascism going to cost
Oh,
us?
that's
Because
interesting.
Right now we're spending
this is a fascinating question. You asked a fascinating question. Hold on a second. You asked a great question. Excuse me. You're on hold. You're rude. You asked a great question, okay, and brought up an interesting thing. So you're telling me, because I'm a little confused. Oh, she hung up. Okay, I'm a little confused. Is she saying that when a country, who are these people calling me today? Just a bunch of weirdos. Did she just say to me that when an invading force of people by the tens of millions come into a country, that we should house them and take care of them as opposed to repelling them from our borders? I don't understand. My goodness. It would have been cheaper to house these invaders. We should just set these invaders up with a retirement plan and they have to pay for nothing for the rest of their lives. Is that what she just said? She hung up. I would have found her response interesting. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, it's Chris from Louisiana.
Hey, Chris.
I was just calling because hey, how's it going?
All right.
I was calling because I heard that guy talking about ethnic cleansing, and he had no clue what he was talking about. But I also wanted to point out that I believe you had a Freudian slip, and you said ethnic clitting. And
no,
I'm not
I didn't.
Sure
No, I
mean.
didn't. I didn't say that. You just said it. But you know, this is the thing with liberals. Liberals have always been wrong. Okay, there's not an issue where the liberals have ever been on the right side. I wanted to share this with you and ask your opinion. I'm not going to. It's self-explanatory, so I'm not going to do any build-up. This is a woman on EBT. She's a mother on EBT on the food stamps, and she made a video here.
I am so dumbfounded right now. There are people that genuinely think that people who use EBT don't deserve soda, candy, or desserts. You're going to tell me that my daughter doesn't deserve a popsicle? You're going to tell me I don't deserve to get brownies? You're going to tell me I can't have Dr. Pepper with my dinner? And all I'm hearing is, be grateful, be grateful. It's free food. Get off of your throne of entitlement and take a look around, you guys. Everyone is one bad day away from being homeless or even needing government assistance. Do you guys not see how that makes you look? Your lack of empathy and understanding is outstandingly atrocious.
Okay, so what are your thoughts about this? This is the new rule that you're not going to be able to use your food stamps, your EBT, on junk food. And me personally, I'm perfectly fine with that. There's a lot of things you cannot buy with EBT. When I was in high school, you've heard me mention many times that I worked at Publix, which is the big grocery store chain here in Florida. They're in other states now. They were just in Florida back then. It was the 80s. And I was a stock person. I was in high school, started out as a bag boy, was a stock person. But when it got busy, which would usually be like on Saturdays, I'd have to be a cashier for a while and run the register. And I remember when we would run the register, back then they didn't have EBT like the cards. You know, now they have a card. It's just like, it looks like a debit card. Back then, they actually had physical food stamps, and it looked like Canadian money. It was like small bills, and they were different colors. And people would come in grocery shopping. I'd ring up all their groceries, and then they would say, oh, I've got food stamps. So there was a button to push on the register that gave you, it would change it. Like the price would be whatever it was. And let's just say as an example, the total grocery bill, this was the 80s, okay? So let's say it was $65 because things were a lot less back in the 80s than they are now. And they would say, oh, I have food stamps. Although they usually would whisper, oh, I've got food stamps. They didn't want to say it out loud. I got food stamps. Okay. So I'd push a button, and on the register, it would switch from that $65 to two different totals. One was the total, the food stamp total, and one was the total of things that were not covered by food stamps. And there were all kinds of things that were not covered by food stamps. I don't remember what all of them were. I mean, we're talking like 40 years ago almost. But there were a lot of things that you could not buy with food stamps. And they must have loosened up the regulations, because I remember back at that time, so I'm talking like about 86 to 88, 1986, 1988, somewhere in that window. I remember some of the things that weren't covered by food stamps back then, and it was pretty much anything that was already cooked. Like as an example, sometimes I'll go to the grocery store and I'll buy a pre-cooked rotisserie chicken from the deli. That would not be covered. If I bought pre-cooked fried chicken, it would not be covered. The only thing, if I got 2-liter Cokes, it was not covered, right? And it was, and it was, people would be shocked and ticked off sometimes, but that's just the way it was. So sometimes they would throw a fit about it, like this girl, and they'd have to put stuff back because they didn't have enough cash to pay for the 2-liter Cokes and things like that. So it used to be like that. I don't know. And that was like 87, 88, 86 when I was doing that. So I don't know at what point you could all of a sudden do everything. And I've seen where you can go to stores and buy more than just junk food. You can buy clothing with EBT and everything else. But, here's the thing, and I'm not a cruel person, and I do believe in public assistance for Americans that need it. However, when you're as an example, when you're a child, no matter what age you are, even if you're an adult and you're living at home with your parents or your parents are supporting you, your parents still have authority over you. As long as your parents are paying your bills, you still have to answer to your parents, right? He who owns the gold makes the rules, how it goes. So if you're an EBT recipient and the government says, okay, we want to help you, but you can't buy this or that, I think that's perfectly reasonable. And I remember as I'm talking about it, it was very specifically, you could not purchase anything that was pre-made. It had to be things that were fresh, that you made yourself. Okay, you couldn't buy candy bars or brownies or Pepsi or Coke or any of that. You couldn't buy laundry detergent. I remember that was a big one. You couldn't buy laundry detergent because I remember people would give me a lot of crap about laundry detergent and the 2 liters of Coke and stuff. They would have freakouts over that. But that's the way it was, and so I don't know when it changed. My opinion is that no, you shouldn't be buying your kid. If the government says you can't, you shouldn't be buying junk food for your child with EBT. Buy that with your own money. All right, let's take some more calls. I'd like to hear your thoughts on that at 1-888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Oh, hey, Brian. It's Joan from Tampa Bay.
Hey, Joan. What's up?
I'm about to blow the top of my head off. These people with with the food stamp.
EBT, yes.
I'm just like, forget about it. I put my husband through graduate school. We paid cash. We didn't have a student loan. And that was a lot of money.
Yeah.
You know that.
Yeah, I did. I paid my own way through college, too. And sometimes I would take one class. Sometimes I'd skip a semester. Took me a while.
Had kids. And the thing is, I worked 2 jobs. I worked 2 jobs doing that, right?
Yeah.
And some of them are screaming like, if my child needs a birthday cake. Well, you know what? My children needed a birthday cake. It's called flour, eggs. You can buy that. You can make
That's exactly
cake.
right. And and in this day and age, you could go on YouTube or something and look up how to bake a cake from scratch, and you do what you got to do.
And the thing is, my mom, from when I was a kid, because I don't know. I don't know if we were affluent or not affluent, but she had these little things that you could make it with juice.
Oh, I don't know.
And it was like a little like square thing that would sit these things in, and
and I'll tell you another thing too. Like this woman here, right? She made this video and posted it online. I remember when I was working as a cashier in high school, right at Publix. When people didn't say, here's my food stamps, here's my EBT, they'd like whisper, I got food stamps. There's no shame in it anymore. Like this woman, not only is she entitled, she's like proud that she has EBT. And I'm not saying that someone should be ashamed, because public assistance is there for people who need it. And don't misunderstand me. But but when I was younger, we wanted to be there for people. Okay, we don't want people to do without. But there's been a change where people aren't embarrassed anymore. They used to be embarrassed. Now they're like proud of it.
But the thing is, you don't need potato chips to live.
Yes.
I mean, I remember when I was putting my husband through graduate school, and we did not have a lot of money because it was going to tuition and books and.
Exactly. Well, listen, Joan, I'm going to run, but I appreciate the call. You make some good points. All right. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, it's the person from earlier talking about an ethnic cleansing.
Oh, no, I was.
For the record, I'm not a liberal.
I know.
I'm not a liberal.
It's one call per show. You can call me once per show.
I understand.
Okay. All right. Take care. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. I really am not interested in talking to anti-Semites. Okay. I mean, that's just me. Maybe some people don't mind, but I don't have much interest in that. If you're new to the program, welcome. Make sure that you subscribe and follow on whatever platform you're listening to us on. Well, here's Jasmine Crockett, whose own coworkers say she's nasty. She's being interviewed on MSNBC. And listen to this.
Do you hear the stuff they're saying about Gene Wu, by the way, talking about Asians, like how he's connected to the Chinese Communist Party? Like the racism, they're not doing a great job of keeping it on, keeping the lid on that pot.
No, I mean, honestly, when Trump came in the first time, they started to lift the hoods.
You hear that? You hear that? You hear what she said? When Trump came in the first time, they started to lift the hoods. She's calling everyone who supports Trump a Ku Klux Klans member. All right? Everyone who supports Trump is a Klansman. That's what she just said. What a twisted person.
They're not doing a great job of keeping it on, keeping the lid on that pot.
No, I mean, honestly, when Trump came in the first time, they started to lift the hoods. Once Trump got in a second time, they decided the hoods were off. And listen, I'm perfectly fine with it because I want to know where you stand. I want to know that you're a despicable human being who lacks all morality, but wants to go around and teach and preach Christianity. I want to know who you are because then I know how to deal with you. It is unfortunate that that is where we are. And it is one reason that it is so difficult for minorities to even try to listen to Republicans because they consistently coddle people like neo-Nazis.
Oh, my goodness. So, so every Trump supporter is a member of the Klan, according to Jasmine Crockett. What a racist, negative story. That is textbook racism, and she's promoting negative stereotypes. And she would tell you, here's the thing. People that are racist, like Jasmine Crockett, typically they don't realize they're racist, okay? They think they're just enlightened and see the world properly. But here you have Jasmine Crockett, who is a racist, who is negatively stereotyping all people who are white that are Republican or all people who are white that are MAGA and support President Trump. That's racism, and it's racial stereotyping. I thought liberals were opposed to that, but I guess I was wrong. Now, if you're on hold, stand by. If you'd like to call in and you're watching live on YouTube, the number is pinned in the live stream, 888-465-2631. We'll be right back.
Looking for a road trip that's a little off the beaten path? From author Johnny Travisani comes your coast-to-coast tour of terror and the serial killer travel guide across America. Available on Amazon. This isn't your grandma's travel book unless she was into true crime and gallows humor. In the serial killer travel guide across America, you'll travel from the foggy forest of the Pacific Northwest to the eerily quiet suburbs of Middle America. This campy 1960s style travel guide takes you to the real-life haunts of some of the most notorious serial killers in American history. But beware, you may never look at suburbia the same way again. Order your copy right now on Amazon in Kindle, paperback, hardcover, Kindle Unlimited, and audiobook. The Serial Killer Travel Guide Across America from author Johnny Travisani. And take a trip you will never forget. Imagine stepping into your kitchen and it's filled with vibrant vegetables, fragrant spices, and the joy of creating meals that nourish your body and the planet. In the new book, Plant-Powered Plates, Sustainable Plant-Based Pleasures for Every Palate, from author Bain Kalange. Available on Amazon, you'll discover 100 delicious plant-based recipes designed to fuel you with energy and simplify your transition to a balanced vegan lifestyle. From mindful eating and nutrition essentials to a 30-day meal plan, the author is passionate about healthy, sustainable living and has a love for simple, nourishing meals and mindful habits. He wrote Plant-Powered Plates to help others just like you enjoy the benefits of plant-based eating and shares practical, actionable ideas that'll inspire a balanced, thoughtful lifestyle, one plate at a time. Order your copy of Plant-Powered Plates right now on Amazon in Kindle, paperback, and Kindle Unlimited. Don't you hate it when you buy something online and then you get slapped with a huge shipping charge at checkout? Not at MyPillow.com. Right now, enjoy free shipping on all orders $100 or more when you use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at checkout at MyPillow.com. This is your chance to stock up on unbeatable deals on everything site-wide. Soft sheets, cozy slippers, plush bathrobes, mattresses, mattress toppers, pet beds. It's free shipping on all orders $100 or more. Order now at MyPillow.com and use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, for free shipping. From author Dr. Douglas MacLean comes a hauntingly beautiful story of passion, separation, and the mysterious threads that tie two souls together, even when everything else falls apart. The Last Whisper, available on Amazon. In the sweltering heat of Louisiana, a soldier meets a woman who changes everything. Their connection is instant, their bond unshakable. But when duty calls, love is tested across oceans, through war, and into the unknown. The Last Whisper is a story that echoes the Notebook's romance and the emotional depth of Ghost. It's a story of healing, memory, and a love so deep it refuses to let go, even when nothing is certain. Sometimes the strongest voice in your life is the one you can't explain. Order your copy of The Last Whisper from author Douglas MacLean on Amazon, available in Kindle, paperback, hardcover, and Kindle Unlimited. Love, loss, and one truth that lingers long after the final goodbye. The Last Whisper on Amazon.
All right, we're back. I'm Brian Craig. This is the Brian Craig Show podcast, available on all podcast platforms. All right, we got a lot to cover, but I'll take another call or two. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Oh, no, wrong button. There you go. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, it's Frank in Titusville, Florida.
Hey, Frank, what's up?
Hey, I just wanted to talk a little more about what you were saying about Jasmine Crockett and her racism, which, by the way, I 100% agree with you on that. The problem when it comes to individuals that have a mindset like hers is that the term racism has been so hijacked over the years that they actually believe that they're completely exempt from the ability to be racist.
Yes.
And unfortunately, people like that, there's no rational conversation that you can have with them. I mean, like back in the 2020 election, this one guy was talking about how Trump was a racist. So, I made sure to quote a bunch of Biden's greatest hits, the "You ain't black," all that kind of stuff.
Well, I'll tell you what they used to say, because I remember they said this for a long time, that minorities can't be racist, right? This was before Obama. Yeah. And what they would say is minorities cannot be racist because to be a racist, you have to have power. Well, minorities are very much in power. Okay, and that just doesn't apply. Sure, you can be black or you can be any skin color and be racist. Of course you can.
Yeah. Well, sorry, I'll skip to the point here. Basically, this guy was telling me that because I was white, I didn't know what I was talking about. And when I pointed out to him, I was like, you realize that you're excluding me because of the color of my skin. I said, you're every bit the racist that you're claiming that I am. And he said, well, I'm black, I can't be racist. And that was just the point where I was like, okay, you can't rationalize with people like this. They are deranged. And it's literally that simple.
They're mental patients. They're mental patients. Yeah. They really are. They don't see the world clearly.
Obviously I don't put everyone in that category, but there's some that's like Renee from Harlem. I bet he believes that he's incapable of being racist. I'll bet. Jay from Jersey, same thing.
But you know, Jasmine Crockett's different. She's putting on an act. Her family is wealthy. She went to elite private schools her whole life. She doesn't speak like this. And if you go find some old interviews with her, she speaks normal. She's doing this ghetto race baiting thing because she's trying to hold on to her seat. And it's made her famous.
Mm-hmm.
It's an act.
Yeah. Yeah, I believe you. I have no reason to doubt that.
I bet you Jasmine Crockett,
spotlight.
you know, her and her family are rich. They grew up rich. I bet they take the Trump tax cuts from the big, beautiful bill.
Yeah, they'll just, deny it later.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, take care. Thanks for the call. You made some good points.
You too, man.
All right, good. A lot of new people calling the show. That's awesome, and contributing quite a bit for the most part. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
The big, beautiful bill.
Hi, my name is Scratch. That's why I go about it online.
Okay, I'm sure you do. Okay, now I want to talk about Zohran. You know, this guy Zohran, he's Muslim and he's rich, and he says he's a democratic socialist and all this stuff. You know, here's a couple things about him. He's running around, Zohran, in New York, and he's talking about freezing rents on the rent control. Now, rent control doesn't mean that they have not been able to raise the rents since the 60s or 70s. It means that they can only raise the rents so much. And he wants to have a freeze on that. And the reason that is done, which is wrong, I think that rents should be determined on the market. So like if you own rental property, you should be able to charge whatever you want for rent. And if it's too high, no one's going to rent it, right? But, and I'm into free market. These Democrats, they're into communism. But as the mayor of New York would be just devastated with this guy as mayor. Governor Cuomo pointed out something the other day, which with anyone else, they'd be run out of the race over this. Zohan's family, he is a multimillionaire. He's married to a very wealthy woman that he just married in Africa. Her family are millionaires too, from Dubai. They live in a rent-controlled apartment with a $2,300 a month rent, which is very low for New York City. And Governor Cuomo, he made a very important point, a very good point for change. He said, there's some mother with kids that's sleeping on the subway because she doesn't have an apartment because Zohan's taking this rent-controlled apartment. But I learned something about Zohran and his wife. You remember we were talking a week or two ago, he got married in Africa at the family's private compound with army guards and devices that stopped all cell phones from working and all this stuff. They were already married. Zohran has married the same woman 3 times in a row. They got married in New York City. Then they flew to Dubai and got married in the Middle East. And then this wedding in Africa, in Uganda or Zimbabwe, which is the 2 he's from, I can't remember. But the one in Africa, that was his 3rd wedding. So he and his wife, this man of the people, has gotten married to the same woman on 3 different continents. Who does that? A rich guy. There's nothing wrong with it. People got money to do things. I get it, but don't go around acting like you're some savior of the people when you're getting married on 3 continents. The Middle East, by the way, is in Asia, for those that are wondering. And then I looked at his website. I wanted to show you a little bit from his website. Let me pull this up. Does this look like a guy who's running for the mayor of New York City or the mayor of Mecca or Medina? Look at the text of his name, Zohran, up there for New York. It looks like the font that would, if I went to Barnes & Noble and I bought a printed copy of 1001 Arabian Nights, the title would be in that. Wouldn't it? In that font, wouldn't it? And look at this. And his campaign video, you look at his campaign video, and this is, his mother's an Academy Award nominated director. Look how he's dressed walking down the streets of New York. What is that a New Yorker? Now listen, I'm not a New Yorker. I'm a Floridian. But this guy is not a New Yorker. And you got to ask yourself this. Why is this guy, who's obviously not a New Yorker, running for New York mayor? What's his long game here? And look at the high quality of the filming of this. Now this is a very well produced, and a professional filmmaking, because he's got the connections through his mother, this man of the people who went to a $70,000 a year school in New York, who wants to shut down charter schools. He won't condemn the Intifada, right? And, one thing I wonder, he won't condemn the Intifada, right? I want to ask you this question. And this is I am serious about this question. So Mamdani here, Zohran will not condemn the global Intifada. Here's my question to you. Was 9/11 a part of the Intifada? I think it was. We're in the third Intifada now. The second Intifada started in 2000. So that, and it went for a few years. So 9/11 was a part of the Intifada. Has anyone asked Zohran if his thoughts on that? Make buses fast and free. See, this is one of his campaign promises. He says in this campaign ad that New York City buses only go 9 miles per hour, and he's going to make them fast. Well, the reason that they average 9 miles per hour, if that's true, is because of the heavy traffic during certain times of the day. So what's he going to do? How are you going to make the buses be able to travel at unlimited speeds? I don't know. Yeah, but I do believe that 9/11 was a part of the Intifada. And if you're not condemning the Intifada, you're not condemning 9/11. Let me know your thoughts on that. 1-888-465-2631. And if you're watching on YouTube, look at this camera work at the end. You can only see this on YouTube, but watch this. There's a camera that's going to be in front of him. He's talking to the camera. And then the camera's going to make a camera move in a second here. I watched this early this morning, so hold on. It's coming up. Those of you on YouTube, you can see this. I'm sorry the rest of you can't that are listening on other platforms. But hold on. It's coming soon. Yes, we can afford to bring them in. Yes. Yeah, Zohran for mayor. This is really... Okay, here we go. See, look at this. He's talking, and then the camera, there's a handheld gimbal camera. This guy has about a $100,000 minimum camera that's being used. This man of the people, about a $100,000, maybe even more, camera that's being used to film this campaign ad. This man of the people with very sophisticated film work and everything. Give me a break. I mean, this is, whatever a man of the people is, Zohran is the opposite. Let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Mike from Louisiana.
Hey, Mike, what's up?
You're right. Those clothes he's wearing, Zohran or whatever his name is, I'm pretty sure that he's being a millionaire and all that stuff, being rich. That's high-end clothing he's wearing.
Maybe. I'm not against people having expensive clothing, but own it up. 9/11 was a part of the Intifada. So, and he won't condemn the Intifada, and he wants to become the mayor of the city where the biggest Intifada attack took place. Where is the NYPD union? Where I know a lot of the police officers are saying they're going to quit if he gets elected. Where are the 9/11 families? Where is the fire department's union? The firefighters and the police officers were running in the World Trade Center towers when everybody else was running out. And this guy will not condemn the Intifada. That is, and I'd like a reporter to ask him, 9/11 was part of the Intifada. Do you condemn that? I haven't heard anybody ask him that. Have you?
Absolutely not. And that's the thing. This guy is obviously a rich guy. I mean, I don't fault him for being rich, but he's a rich guy. Just like Bloomberg was rich, but we knew who Bloomberg was, right?
Mm-hmm. A billionaire.
When he You know, and Ross Perot is a billionaire.
Trump's a billionaire.
By the way,
yes.
Yep. By the way, those infomercials that he made, they weren't cheap when he was making them back then. You know.
Yeah, Ross
so,
Perot.
Again.
Yeah, you're right, Mike. I appreciate the call. Yeah, Mike's right on the money. He's rich.
Hear ye, hear ye. Tom Laporta here from Laporta Roofing. Floridians, take note. Ron DeSantis and the state of Florida have allocated $280 million for the 25-26 fiscal year to fund new grants under My Safe Florida Home program. This grant is up to $10,000 when you spend $15,000 or more on your project. This may include roofing and wind mitigation systems. Go online at mysafefloridahome.com and get approved before the money is gone. If you need help, please call me, Tom Laporta, 954-604-4602, or find us at laportaroofing.com. It's simple. When you spend $1, the state matches $2 up to $10,000. They send you a check. I know it sounds too good to be true, but it is. So again, call us at 954-604-4602 or find us at laportaroofing.com.
On the line, we have Bruce. Bruce is a client of Jupiter Joe Thomas. He heard me talking with Joe Thomas about annuities and what a great deal they are, and he went in with his wife, and now he's a client. Hey, Bruce, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Brian.
So tell me about your experience with Jupiter Joe Thomas.
A fine gentleman. We sat down with Joe, and we explained everything to him, and we brought all our information, and he worked everything out great.
The cool thing about annuities is your money's never at risk. You're guaranteed a revenue stream for the rest of your life, but there's a bonus, really a signing bonus, where you can make a boatload of money before you even leave Joe Thomas's office. Can you talk a little bit about that, Bruce?
Well, that's where I was surprised when we sat down. We talked about the bonuses, and to my amazement, it was 10%, and there was even another one that's bigger.
Wow, that's amazing. So you made 10% on your money before you even got back in your car.
Yeah, it was more than that, but it was great.
Listen, guys, do what Bruce did. Give Jupiter Joe Thomas a call. You can set up a free consultation either on the phone or in the office, and Joe Thomas will put together a custom proposal just for you. His number is 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999, and online at jupiterjoe.com. All right, Bruce, thanks so much.
All right, thank you, Brian.
All right, now I want to take a moment to tell you guys about Dr. Philip Appleton and his laser away pain treatment. Dr. Appleton has rid me of pain 7 times. You've heard me talk about this, sometimes from just pains from aging, like the arthritis in my hand he rid me of. 3 times I've had shoulder injuries from falls and accidents. He's rid me of that pain. My over 30 years of suffering from my knee pain that I got from a car accident over 30 years ago. And that knee that he rid me of pain from after over 30 years of suffering, he treated me for that knee pain 3 years ago, and the pain has not returned. His laser treatment works. It works. It's 100% painless. There's no drugs, no shots, no injections, no downtime. Dr. Appleton performs all the appointments himself. And if you have pain or you've been in an accident, whether it's a car accident, whether it's a slip and fall, or you were doing something around the house, go see him. It works on every type of pain I have ever heard of. Appointments are not necessary. Walk-ins are welcome. But you can make an appointment if you'd like, but you don't have to. I've never made an appointment. I just show up. A Friday afternoon, Saturday mornings, whatever. I'm in pain. I need help. And that's why Dr. Appleton doesn't require appointments, because he knows when you're in pain, you need help, you need relief, and you need it now. Give him a call. By the way, if you have x-rays or scans, bring them with you. Dr. Appleton will gladly look them over. 954-266-8532. 954-266-8532. And online, AppletonCairo.com. That's AppletonCairo.com. All right, we are back. And those of you that are new, make sure you subscribe. Okay, now here's one of the big jerks of all time. This is Bolton. Yes. Listen to John Bolton here. This is in 2022, mind you.
Trump's influence is declining. That hurts some people's feelings. who want to use Trump to anathematize the entire Republican Party. But that gambit isn't going to work. If I do get in, it will be to win the nomination, not simply to prove a point. That's a serious, difficult decision to make, and I'm going to
see. Back in 2022, this idiot John Bolton was thinking about running for president.
Consider it in a prudent fashion. This whole idea that there's a Trump movement out there is simply wrong. The fundamental point in politics is philosophy. Everything else flows from that. Donald Trump has no philosophy.
Oh, man, this is, I mean, really, and that's why, as these things go on, and there's with all these investigations that are going on, they're finding so much in the way of evidence. It's because they never dreamed in 1,000,001 years that Donald Trump would return to the White House. It just they never thought it would be possible, and now he's back. Now, earlier today, I was a guest on Rita Cosby show on Newsmax, and if you've not seen it, it'll be up on the Newsmax website at some point, and I'm sure they rerun the show, and it was at 12:30 in the afternoon today. And it was live. And I've been on Newsmax quite a few times, but this was the first time I was on live. And my wife took a picture of the TV. I'm going to show it to you. My wife took a photograph of the TV when I was on. She was watching live in the, I'm here in the studio where I record and live stream my podcast on YouTube and everything. And I broadcast on the radio here too. I have my home radio studio right behind me where I stand in the radio studio that I'm in now. I have a small TV set that sometimes I use for things, and that's where I was today. But my wife took this picture, and I'm going to show it to you guys in a second. So if you're listening on one of the podcast platforms, either you can go watch me on Newsmax and on their website when the Rita Cosby show is uploaded, or you can go to my YouTube channel and see the picture. I dressed in a little bit of a different way than you're used to seeing me. I'll pull it up. Here we go. Yeah, there we go. Yes, I'm wearing a suit and tie, which I don't do. When I go on our MAGA cruises, we have, we dress up for dinner and everything, and I'll wear a suit and tie for dinner. But I got up this morning, I shaved, which, I don't shave too much during the week. I shave once or twice a week. And sometimes when I've gone on television, I'll wear like a button-up shirt or something. And, I got a great wife, so my wife says, no, you got to wear a suit and tie, Brian. So I got one of my suits out and I got my ties out. My wife picked out the tie. And, that's me in a suit and tie. I can clean up a little bit if I want to. It's nice. But it was a lot of fun to be on the show, and I'm very honored to be invited because Rita Cosby, I've been following Rita Cosby for many, many years, and she is a powerhouse journalist, and she is very close and personal friends with President Trump too. But that's me in a suit and tie. If you go on the cruise, you've seen me and you may have even seen me in that suit and tie on the cruise, but for the most part, you don't see me dress up. Now, I saw this was nuts. This next thing I want to show you, because when I first saw, I'm going to show this to you guys in a minute on YouTube. When I first saw this, and those of you listening on the podcast platforms, I'll describe what this is. When I show it, I thought this can't be real, and I went and looked and found it in some other places, and it's being reported. It is real. There was someone who was in a gift shop at LAX, and for those that don't know, that are outside the United States, maybe LAX is the Los Angeles International Airport, and what they saw being sold was insane. They had a MAGA section. They've got MAGA t-shirts, MAGA sweatshirts, MAGA hats, and some other MAGA gear. They have Trump coffee cups. They got all. I couldn't believe this. This is really an amazing thing. And I was at LAX not that long ago, a few months back, visiting my daughter. And if on my YouTube channel, I made a video of my trip out there, and I was walking through LAX with my Make America Great Again hat on, and people were giving me dirty looks and making comments and everything else. But now they're actually selling the MAGA gear at the airport in Los Angeles, at LAX. And who would have ever dreamed that was possible, right? And what's going on in California is what's going on in a lot of the country, you know, in so many parts of this country. The country, we say red pill. I'm trying to get magnetized. I like magnetized, you know, because I'm getting a little tired of red pilled. But the country is really being magnetized, or magatized, I should say, magatized. You got to say it fast, magatized. And California, I'm telling you, either within the next couple of presidential elections, California is moving into the battleground state category. And states do switch. You know, here I am in the great state of Florida. Florida was a strong Democrat state for a long time. Obama won Florida. Bill Clinton won Florida. Hillary Clinton did not, but Bill Clinton won Florida. You know, this was a Democrat state, and now Florida is a strong red MAGA state and will remain that. And Los Angeles, California, having a MAGA gift shop in their airport, it does back up the idea that California is morphing into a battleground state. And, you know, the battleground states, which are also referred to as toss-up states, those states change from election cycle to election cycle over the years. And that's expected. And California used to be a strong, credible Republican state, right? Remember, Richard Nixon was from California and won California. Ronald Reagan was from California, right? So it flipped Democrat. Well, now it looks like it's going to flip back, and that's a good thing, and I'm excited about it. Now, I also want to share this. You know, I wear this Trump 2028 hat all the time. I'm wearing it now, Trump 2028. And a lot, if you're on hold, hang in there. A lot of people that are liberals, they don't like the Trump 2028 hat. It's just the very thought that Trump could be president again for a third term just is too much for them to handle, and they can't handle it. And President Trump was giving a tour to one of the foreign leaders of his MAGA hat collection, and he's got a MAGA hat collection that is almost as big as mine, and I've got some of these hats. He has a Trump 2028 hat. He's got one that I have. I don't wear this one so much. It says Trump was right about everything. I wear that sometimes. It's a good one. The Trump USA hats. But President Trump, he picks up the Trump 2028 hat, and he's got this foreign leader there, and he shows him the hat, and they're talking. Listen, this is President Trump with the Trump 2028 hat in his hand. Listen.
You know, you're not allowed to run. So, because I'm 28 points higher than anybody. Everybody wants me to run. But including us.
Including us. That's right, Mr. President. We all want you to run again. All right, I'll play the whole thing. But he's got the Trump 2028 hat in his hand. The same one I'm wearing, because my Trump 2028 hat, I bought it from my wife bought it for me. But we bought it from the official Trump store.
You know, you're not allowed to run. So, because I'm 28 points higher than anybody. Everybody wants me to run. But including us. You know, it's funny. So this drives him crazy. Look, 4 more years. I go 4 more years. So it's sort of cool. Fellas, come on, grab what you want. That's okay.
Yeah, isn't that great? Grab what you want. Oh man, can I go there? Will he autograph them for me? Oh man, that's pretty cool. But yeah, so even President Trump has the Trump 2028 hat. There's one more hat that I don't have. I have a Gulf of America hat, but he's got one on his shelf. It's red. It looks like the regular MAGA hat, but it says Gulf of America. That's the one I don't have. I'm going to have to get that one. But Trump's got the Trump 2028 hat in his personal collection at the White House. And don't say it's not possible that he's going to be running in 2028. He's selling the hats, he's showing off the hat, and he keeps it on his shelf at the White House. So 2028 is on his mind. And, the reason Roosevelt had 4 terms is because the country was in a bad state, right? We had the Depression, we had the Second World War, all these things going on. And, with President Trump, there's a crisis going on. He's going to have a press conference this week. He's going to end the crime in D.C. How's he going to do that? Looks like he's going to be taking it over. But the country needs him, and we need him for another term to firm everything up. Don't you guys agree? My name's Brian Craig. This is the Brian Craig Show podcast, which, of course, is available on all podcast platforms. If you'd like to support my program, become a Patreon supporter. There's a link in the description of the video. If you become a Patreon supporter, you get access to commercial-free editions of all of my podcast episodes, as well as a lot of other exclusive content that both my wife and I both post there, including exclusive vlogs, other videos, and all kinds of things that we post nowhere else except on my Patreon page. Again, there's a link in the description of this episode on whatever platform you're listening on to my Patreon page. The direct website address is patreon.com/RealBrianCraigShow. Patreon.com/RealBrianCraigShow. If you become a top Patreon supporter, you get a live on-air thank you shout-out on each and every podcast, and you get your name up on the screen on YouTube. So the names you'll hear now are my top Patreon supporters. I want to thank SFjr, Christine, ETW, Chuck, Pamela, Nick, Wesley, Doris, Heather, David, Maria in Texas, Alice, LeeZep, Shawna, George, Brandon, John, Frank, Dale, Tina, David, Laura, Rob L., Wes, Sue, and Janice. These are my top Patreon supporters. Thank you so much. This is where MAGA comes to talk. I'm Brian. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. I will talk to you next time.